Hello and welcome everyone for joining today's session on Drawing Along with an Ocean Artist. My name is Kasumi Singha Arachige and I'll be the facilitator, joined by a well-known artist, Rena Ortega. Hi,
Hello.
Rena.
Hi, Kazumi, and hi, everyone.
We're so happy to have you today.
I'm very, very happy and very pleased also to be today here. Thank you so much.
Great. Great. So Rena is an illustrator who advocates the beauty of marine life with her passion. Today we are having this session in order to merge the love we have for the ocean with the passion for art. So Rena will also be one of the judges for World Oceans Day art competition. The Pearl Protectors are organizing the art exhibition for the second year. The Marine Environment Protection Authority, Pro Resources Trust, Dilma Conservation, and World Oceans Day International will be partnering in celebrating this year's World Oceans Day in Sri Lanka. The competition is open to all, and submissions will be divided based on your age. So the two categories are school and open. Under two themes, beauty of the marine environment and ocean pollution. So the deadline for the submission has been extended to the 5th of June, and more information about the art competition will be elaborated after the session. So stay tuned. So today, Rena is joining us from Spain, and I wanted to ask, how is the situation over there with COVID and everything?
Well, here things in Spain are getting much better, and
Mhm.
so everything seems quite more quiet. People is starting going out to the streets, to everywhere, joining with their friends, family. A little bit chaotic because Spanish we are a little bit party lovers and chaotic. Well,
Yeah.
everything seems to be relaxed, and so we are just optimistic with the situation.
Okay, that's great. And I think today, especially with the current situation that's happening in Sri Lanka and the lockdown, as well as the recent incident that happened with the MV Express Pearl, I think everyone is feeling a bit anxious with regard to marine environment and life in itself. I feel like everyone is feeling a bit worried. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to be positive, to look on the bright side, and to try to be able to respect and protect our marine environment.
That's it. It's a very good opportunity to be relaxed at home and just doing positive and beautiful things as we are going to
Yeah.
do today. And I'm sure, well, I'm sure no, because this is one of the aims of my work that art helps a lot while in this negative situation. It's a way of meditation and it
Mhm.
brings you full of positiveness in yourself. So it's very good to practice art.
Yeah. Okay, then, shall we begin?
Of course, shall we begin? I'm willing to.
Great.
Well, so I'm very pleased and very happy to be here today just to teach you a little bit about art. So, welcome everybody to my art class. So, I think it's also interesting to talk a little bit about myself. So, I'm an illustrator. So, I work for book publishers. That's the thing that I love to do the most, books, illustrated books, and also things, illustrations related to nature, because one of the aims of my work is to protect nature. I declare myself an activist of passion and beauty. Of course, I'm a nature and ocean lover, so that's why I do art for ocean advocacy. So
Okay.
for me, it's important to see nature, animals, and art, not just living beings, things that move, things that eat. No, I see them as art. Why? Because that way I can raise awareness through beauty. I
Mm.
think that beauty is very important message today, and it's a way that to make people wonder and admire our nature in order to protect and respect him. I think that the message goes better with a very beautiful things in order that we can admire this nature. So I have also prepared a little bit of inspirations of my work because I think, well, maybe you will enjoy a little bit of to see what I do. I love the ocean because I think it's one of the most unknown things of our life. So for me, it's important to show people the beauty
Wow.
of what we
Mm.
have below in the water. It's awesome. All the patterns, colors, interactions, all the animals. So it's a good way, I think, to arrive people and to show them all the beauty. And of course, I love whales. They are part of my inspiration. They are everything in my life. In fact, whales have changed my life, and I see art in them. So they are just amazing beings. And also,
Wow.
I think, well, this is one of my favorite also. As you see, I don't paint also
Yeah.
reality. I try to transform them in something else. We're going to talk a little bit about watercolors and materials used to paint because this is very important. Okay, so depending on what we use, we will have one result or another. So this is all the material that I use. I paint, I don't know if you will see very good here in the image, but I have this kind of brushes, but also you
Okay.
can use these common ones. They are perfect, both of them. The thing is that these ones, sorry, that I use, they have this
Mm.
water deposit on it, so we don't need to be all the time with the
Dipping it.
water and
Yeah.
in class, and they are very practical if we go traveling. So one of the things that I'm starting to use is more handmade watercolors. So there are a lot of little shops, small shops, that they do their own colors, all with more sustainable materials, ecological and handmade. And but of course it depends on where you live to find one or another, because the more handmade, they have a more expensive cost. But then you have a wide range of watercolors with a very well, very good prices to use. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, one of the best thing to do is that you have to take care a lot of your material. So this is very
Yeah.
important, but we will talk a little bit further about it. And I also have travel watercolors, which give me a lot of freedom. They are very light and amazing
Oh.
if you travel.
Mm.
Yes, and also um, it's important the watercolor we use, and very important the watercolor paper. This is my favorite. You can have the reference and this white acrylic ink that will help us a little bit while working on some effects in our illustration. So this
Oh
is,
wow.
yes. So of course, if you have any doubt regarding materials, don't hesitate asking, and I will answer in the end. Okay, so for today, as I said that I love whales, the art project is going to be a humpback whale. But in a part of my work where I want to do before start painting any creature or nature, I like to know more about what I'm going to
Mm.
paint. So I'm going
Yeah.
to talk a little bit these awesome whales, the humpback whale, the Megaptera novelingrae, and these are awesome. They are very beautiful and calm whales. They were the first sea creatures I saw in the
Oh
ocean,
wow.
and wow, it was an amazing experience. So they changed my entire life. So
Oh my
humpback
God.
whales are baleen whales, which means that they do not have teeth. They just filter water, and they eat
Mhm.
zooplankton and phytoplankton. Okay, these tiny, tiny
Mm.
creatures, they
Yeah.
love. They eat a lot of a very huge amount of these creatures. They are called Megaptera, which
Mhm.
means big-winded. Due to this, their big fins on the side, the sided fins, they are very, very big, the biggest ones of all whales. They are very big whales, but not the biggest. They can reach up to 16 meters. And they also have a very curious head, as you can see here on the
Mm.
illustration.
Yeah.
They have no rounded face. No, it's just like this. It's amazing. And something very curious and which makes this whale unique and awesome is their patterned tail fin. It is different between one to another. It's like our fingerprints, which makes unique
Oh
all
wow.
human
Mm.
individuals. So it happens the same with the humpback whales. So it's a very good thing because for scientists, it's very it makes very easy to
Yeah. To
um,
identify
exactly to identify one species
another.
from another, even though they are in different oceans or different coastlines. So it's awesome. Humpback whales
Mm.
also have the most amazing songs of all the ocean beings. Their songs are very, very long and are beautiful, beautiful. I don't know if you have ever listened to these songs, but I highly recommend to search for these relaxing songs. It's awesome. It's amazing. And another
Mm.
thing that I really love is their surface behavior. They are one of the most common whales that you can see in the waters because they love to be in the surface. They love to play. They love to breach. They love to jump, play with the fins, with the tail, and they are also very curious with the people. So stay tuned
Oh.
to the ocean because maybe one day you can see one of them. They
Oh
are also
wow.
great travelers. They travel a lot from cold waters to hot waters. And I have to say that humpback whales are the most amazing moms in all the nature. They can be up to 8 months with no eating anything, fish or krill, thanks to their fat in order to give to feed their calves. So
Wow. Like
awesome. This
eight
is
months. Wow.
up to
That's
8
amazing.
months. I have to say sorry because I said that they eat phytoplankton, they eat krill, which are little crustaceans, little, very,
Mm.
very little. And another interesting thing that they hunt all together in something called bubble netting. So they have a very important social behaviors, but only
Okay.
hunting.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So I think it's very, very important to know about, as I said, about the things that we are just inspiring us or that we are painting. So always check documentaries on TV or internet, read books about animals, because the more you know, the more you will be able to transmit, to show in an illustration, and of course to raise awareness and to respect. Now, this is the project, the sketch about the humpback whale that we are going
Wow.
to draw today. So we will
Mhm.
leave few minutes, about 5 minutes maximum, okay, in order that you can take your paper and you can sketch this whale about sizes. So don't, if it's the first time that you do a watercolor illustration, I highly recommend not to draw in a very tiny size nor very big size. So take a common paper, this common size paper, and draw in a size that you will feel comfortable with your brush and with everything. Because what happens that if we draw very little, We will see that we will not be able to explore with the water, the color and everything.
Yeah.
And everything will be just a mess. And if we draw very
Mm.
big, wow, it will be too much big for us. We will be lost a little bit in the illustration, and it can be a little bit stressful to paint it in a very big size.
Yeah. And also for everyone who is watching this, if you want to be creative with it, please go ahead and add in if you want to. And I think it's also important to mention this that once everyone is done, maybe sketching it, please, if y'all could drop a comment saying that y'all are done, so it will be easy for us to also move on with it.
One important thing, Kazumi, that I want to say is that
Yeah.
this is not going to be a realistic illustration. So
Mhm.
don't worry about mistakes. Don't worry about adding uh, colors that you cannot imagine. So we are just going to base this animal into the reality, of course, but
Yeah.
we are going to feel free. We are just going to flow, to explore, because you will
Mm.
see that the color that I'm going to use to paint this whale will not be blue, neither gray. I am going to paint it in a pink color. Okay,
Oh,
so
oh wow.
feel free
Yeah.
to choose the color you want, the color you wish, and
Mm.
to explore, to feel free. This is just to enjoy, okay? And it's not a scientific illustration, okay?
Oh wow. Okay. Uh, and for those who are already sketching it, make sure you comment on Facebook or YouTube in the comment section, mentioning that y'all are done, and so we can start coloring the whale. It's very exciting.
I don't know if everybody had enough time to do the sketch. So I don't know if to wait 1 minute or two maximum, or maybe everybody who wants, of course, to paint along right now
Mm.
has the sketch done. We will give just another minute. Okay.
Yeah. And also, don't worry that if you do miss it in case, this will also be uploaded after the live session. So you can freely watch it whenever you could and stop it whenever. And then that would make it easier in case y'all miss it.
That's it.
I
Don't panic and don't stress to paint all the whale right now. Just enjoy. I want everybody to enjoy, and you can see the
okay.
section uh, in another moment and paint with all the calm you have. So I
Okay,
think
so
that's
I have, yeah, we've received comments saying that they are done. So I
okay.
think we can continue now.
Perfect. So when we have this animal here as a sketch, we might ask, where will I start painting? So in my technique, or what I do while painting these creatures, is to start for one of the extremes. I really like to start painting the tail because it's a very little piece to paint, and it's
Mm.
a good way to start feeling comfortable with the brush, paint, paper, water, everything. So, as I said, I'm going to paint this whale in a different color. I'm going to use this vibrant pink, which will give the watercolor. The whale will be, wow, different, amazing, and with lots of personality. So we are just creating art, as I said. So what I do is to take a little bit of water, and then I go to my watercolor pan and just go with the flow. I just start painting with it, just relaxing and just adding a little bit of water if we want more water on it. So just explore a little bit and don't worry, because we will be just working this area later. So this is just a little way to start. And then the other side. One thing that I forgot to say is that I use this technique with watercolor, but if you are painting with acrylic or wash painting, because you don't have watercolors, the technique, the way I paint will be more or less the same, but what you have to do to have this effect I'm working on is to add more water, but never add water to the paint, okay? Just have your little palette, okay, where you are going to add paint and water. So here what I'm doing is adding another color. I'm going to combine this pink with this violet, okay?
Wow.
In order to give contrast and volume. Of course, if you are painting the whale green, just add darker color, okay? The thing is to have parts of the illustration darker and others with lighter, because it will give us this volume the animal have.
And I noticed that you are circling certain parts. Does it help blend well?
Well, it helps me. It helps me in a way, because what it makes is not the to see the brush going just one direction. So circling it makes it vanish better with all the surrounds. Okay, but of course it's just my technique. Feel free to explore, because maybe somebody will feel comfortable just doing it in one direction. Okay, I just circle because I paint that way, but this is something quite personal, and it will depend a little bit on the result that we want. Watercolor painting is just something related to test, to experience, to paint a lot and test yourself, okay? It's about exploration.
Yeah. It feels very relaxing as well.
It's very relaxing, because with the water, everything related to water, I think that in a way makes us being relaxed. So watercolor, of course, is based in water, and is a very good way to disconnect, to focus on what you are doing. So while I'm painting, I am not thinking in anything else, because I cannot think. So I'm just focused on the color and next step and how water and paint flows over the paper. So as you see, what I am just doing is start adding more color, okay, to all this side of the body, and just mixing up a little bit. So with watercolor paper, the result will change a lot if you if you add a little bit of water on the paper before adding the color or not. Okay, so of course it depends on the result that you want. I really like to put a little bit of water before adding the color, because as the zone will be wet, the color will react in a very natural way, and curious and different things will happen. So when you paint watercolor, one thing that you must have in mind is that it will be just quite impossible to have one illustration the same as the other. I mean that if I paint this whale another day with the same colors and same technique, the result will be completely different.
Yeah.
So now we are going to focus a little bit on this side of the body. And as you see, I first add the lighter color, this pink, okay, this lighter pink, and the zones that I want to have more contrast, I add more color or a darker color. Also important when using watercolors, always add first the lighter color, okay, and in the end the darker one, because there is no way back.
Yeah. And what about, if someone was to make a mistake,
So,
how would
if
you?
somebody does a
Yeah.
mistake, in my way of painting, nothing happens, because you have to learn to live with the
Mm,
mistake in your art creations. As I said, this is
mm,
not a scientific illustration where everything
yeah.
has to be perfect as a photograph.
Mm,
This is art. So in art, we must learn to have our how it is said. Oh, sorry, that I don't know the word now in English. It vanished from my head. Our license, okay, our own
yeah.
license, and
Yeah.
because mistake, what we'll do is make art pieces unique. Okay, so don't
Mm,
worry if you have a mistake. Don't worry if you add more water or more color or another color that you see it seems quite strange. Don't worry, because this is part of the creation, and this is a way to experiment with yourself and with watercolors. Okay,
yeah.
so we are not talking about doing things in a perfect way. We are just
Mm,
talking about art in our own way.
yeah. I think that's also like really important as well to remember that, the art is a therapy in itself.
Exactly.
And yeah.
Notice here
Oh,
that
wow.
yeah, surprise, surprise to everyone. So I am just adding blue color, because I am just creating a different whale, a very artistic one, and everything is permitted here. So feel free to add different colors. Okay. So also blue is a color that reacts very good with the pink or violet. Okay.
Mm,
So you will see that, well, it feels quite comfortable in the whole illustration, but feel free to experience a little bit and to add, well, a different color, a different touch to our illustration. So also we can just add more color or a little bit darker, okay, to have another effects. And where I like is to mix with the rest of the illustration. It's just
mm.
quite playing with more water, more pink, more blue. Okay.
This is amazing. So I wanted to ask something with
Mhm.
regard to uh, art. How do we make sure that the art that we do is sustainable?
Well, as I talk about materials, I think that nowadays more sustainable or handmade or ecological watercolors are quite expensive for everyone. So,
Mm,
one of the things that I highly recommend to paint in a sustainable way is to take care a lot about our materials. Take care and wash very well our brushes. If we
mm,
have a big box or a little box with some watercolors and one color finished, don't buy
yeah.
another big box or little box.
Mm,
No, because
yeah.
maybe you have the other colors quite full. So what you can do is to buy just one color. Okay, you can also try to buy more sustainable and watercolor paper, but just if you don't want, if you want to paint with just one little thing in the
Mm,
paper, just don't paint only this thing. Paint more little things on there. Okay, if now we are just
mm.
painting a more big thing, so that's okay.
Yeah.
But if you paint just
To
a
use the
little,
whole canvas. Yeah.
exactly,
Use.
exactly.
Mm,
Take profit of the canvas you are using, but
yeah.
paint in this sustainable way. I think is the most important thing. Take care of your materials. Yes.
Hmm.
And if you have the possibility to work, to buy the materials in a small shops or handmade dealers or something, do it, because you will see that the pigments, the watercolor change, they are different. And of course, you
Hmm.
will help these little creators, little artists that supplies our art.
Oh, wow. So buying locally would also be more sustainable as well.
That's it. That's it. If you
Hmm.
can go to the shop walking, don't buy
Yeah.
in internet. Okay, that's
Hmm.
also a way to be sustainable.
Yeah. How long have you been using your art supplies?
Well, one of the boxes, the biggest one that I have been
Hmm.
using for about 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I have to say that maybe
Mm.
it will last long for 2 years or three, because when color finish, as I said,
Mm.
I go
Yeah.
and buy and not the only this little color. So
Oh,
it's a good thing to take care, because you will have watercolors for many, many years.
that's very true.
Here you can see as the illustration, the watercolor goes on. So we are just playing a little bit while adding more color. And in some zones, we put this darker color in order to give more contrast, and will make our illustration this whale to have some volume on it.
Yeah, it really has already like the 3D effect, I feel like.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm.
So we are just going to finish the head. I like always, because I have my own ways of painting, but while painting the head, I like to paint first the upper side of the head. Okay. So, but of course, you can just make up yourself to start painting where you want, or just to do some experiments with it. But this is the way, and my way, and hope you can learn a little bit.
Mm.
We are going to correct a little bit this, because you see that it seems not everything is blurred. So, is well, you see more a lot of spots. So what I'm going to
Mhm.
do is with the water, I'm just going to work a little bit here.
Okay. So it helps blend to the other
Exactly.
arts
Yeah.
areas.
Yes,
Hmm.
but also important. Don't wait a lot, okay, to blend
Mm.
with the water, because when
Yeah.
the watercolor dries, everything changes and the result will be quite different. So if you know that there is a zone that you will need to add more water or more paint to blend, don't wait until this zone is completely dry, okay?
Hmm.
Just make sure it's a little bit wet yet, okay, to keep on
Hmm.
adding color and playing with the other colors, okay. So this zone we will also add some dark color because we have a shadow here. This is something that I said that it's important to observe. It's very
Mhm.
important to observe nature, even if we have the opportunity to go painting outdoors or
Mhm.
just watching internet images, TV documentaries or books. It's very important not just to see how the animal looks to paint in a realistic way. It's important because it will help us to know where to add the shadows, where to add lighter or darker colors, how the animal is. So,
Mhm.
because this is an artistic representation, but nothing
Yeah.
far from reality.
Yeah. And I feel like we also, in a way, get to know about these animals and like feel connected in that sort of sense.
Yeah, and with the whales happens something to me that the more I know, the more I love them. So
Yeah.
I think it's a point that that it's important that we all reach that the more we know about nature creatures
Mhm.
from land or ocean, the
Yeah.
more we will see the importance, and of
Yeah.
course we will respect and
Mhm.
protect them. So that's why I say it's important to read, to see, to touch, to everything.
Yeah.
And creating them as art um, will help us to reach in an easy way to people because we are reaching with a positive message, with a message
Yeah.
of beauty, message of
Mhm.
patience. I think that
Mhm.
it's easy to reach people with this kind of message.
Yeah. And it's such a positive message as well because it shows the beauty of it,
Mhm.
regardless of whether it looks realistic or not. It still shows how beautiful they are,
Or
and like
also
for us to protect it.
exactly, or also how nature can inspire us to create
Mm.
something awesome.
Yeah.
So we have an amazing inspiration outdoors with
Mm.
nature. So we
Yeah.
can create art with it. We don't need to see another art, to go to the museum or to go to another place. No, just
Yeah.
see what we have outside.
Hmm. Just observing and uh, appreciating the
Exactly.
things that we have. Yeah, I think that's very important. And it's so admirable as well. The nature in itself is so beautiful.
Yeah. And if we do not protect, it will
Mm.
all disappear. We cannot allow to lose all this beautiness of our life in our life.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think a lot of people right now are feeling very anxious, especially with what's happening with the plastic pellets, with because of the shipwreck,
Yeah.
and people are feeling more and more anxious with what's happening to the marine ecosystem.
Yeah,
And
that's true. Yeah, sorry, Kazumi, sorry.
oh no, no. And yeah, I just want to say that this. I hope that this brings some kind of calmness and a relaxation to those who are also drawing, and to take a moment to look away from the negative uh, effects, and to focus on the artwork and the beauty of marine ecosystem and its lives. I feel like it's such a nice way to look, to take a moment away from that and to focus on drawing it and painting it.
That's it. That's it. Just
Mm.
we are going to still talking about it. Just one thing that we are just painting these fins. Okay, as you see, I first add
Uh-huh.
a huge amount of water in order to have this zone wet. Okay, and
Mm.
now
Mhm.
I'm going because the zone is still wet. I'm adding more color on it to give more contrast. And I also add some water with a very, very few color, as you see, in the other part of the head. So as we still paint this zone. Yes, I'm going to talk a little bit this about how the art can help us being well. It helped me a lot during the lockdown here in Spain. I created a lot because it was a way to disconnect. Colors also helped me a lot because every day I am in a different anemic way. So one day I feel happy, the other maybe I feel a little bit sad or just with more anxiety. So observe yourself also the colors that you choose to paint because will tell you a lot about how you are feeling today. So now we are going to detail a little bit just to add more contrast, but let's go back to the head, okay? Because here we are just adding more color just in the front. Okay, so we are just going to focus over there. So the lower part of the head of the humpback whales is lighter, is quite white with some blue or gray. So this zone is important to keep a little bit with light color. Okay, it can be. I have added some white ink, white acrylic ink. Okay, but if you do not have, just add water or leave it blank, okay? Because we want, of course, to focus that this part of the whale is lighter, even though we are using these colors. So here we are going to add this dark color. Okay, and as you see, I'm leaving these small pieces, okay, with no painting, because I'm going to add here a darker color to make contrast, because these are some kind of barnacles that the whale have in this mouth, okay, and we need to paint it to that way with more dark color to give contrast and to see that this is just a humpback whale. And these are these barnacles added here. This part of the body, okay, which is the stomach, is also white. Okay, so what I do is to add this acrylic ink. This is a very good tool to use. Also, you can use white wash, okay, but with water, okay, and it gives a kind of different touch to our illustration. It's interesting to use this kind of materials. You see, this is the white, but it goes with water in order to blend it with this little color there.
Yeah. It gives such a lighter effect. Yeah.
Yes. Better, I prefer to give this touch with the acrylic ink instead of leaving the paper white with no painting, okay?
Yeah.
So the whale is almost done.
Oh, wow.
Almost done. I'm going to add a little bit of white here to give more contrast. Okay, just a little bit. You can, of course, experiment a little bit by adding more water or more white ink or whatever. And we are going to focus on the flipper.
Wow.
So when I paint the flippers, is that um,
Mhm.
it's a way for me to know that the illustration is almost done because it's one of the last things that I paint when I paint.
Oh.
Yeah,
Mhm.
when I paint whales or fishes, this is the
Yeah.
last thing that I like to paint. Okay,
Oh wow. That's so beautiful.
thank you. So we see that the whale is it has its contrast. Okay, we see how it looks like. And here I'm just indicating you where to add these dark colors in order to give this three-dimensionality to the paint.
Mm.
Adding here darker color, this violet color. And of course, if you want to paint the whale in a realistic or more realistic way, feel free to use a photo, okay, to see where to add these colors. So photographs of nature helps us a lot, the illustrators, because of course I cannot go
Mhm.
to see whales every day. No, I really wish to do it, but it's impossible for me. So I use these books or images in the internet, which helps me a lot to know
Mm.
how
Yeah.
the animal is, and if I want to paint something more realistic, it helps a lot, but always try to give a personal touch. Okay.
Mm. Yeah. That's very important, and to also to explore within you what colors you want.
Exactly.
Mm.
And maybe another day instead of pink, you use yellow because this day, wow, it's very sunny outside and everything is perfect, so but it's a way to change colors to real things. It makes us
Mhm.
open our minds a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely does.
I will add here
Oh.
another little surprise, more blue.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's just to give this touch to the illustration. And of course we can allow ourselves to do these kind of things because we are not
Mm.
painting reality. We have no white whales instead of the Amazonian dolphin, which is pink.
Mhm.
Yes, but whales, no. But at least
Mm.
baleen whales, they are not pink. So we can allow us to paint and to add the colors we want.
Mm.
So I first add blue, and then I just keep adding a little bit darker color to give more deepness to the zone.
Wow.
So I'm
This is
really
gorgeous.
thank you so much. I hope everything is enjoying, and the ones that are painting are enjoying too.
Yeah.
So we are going to paint these little barnacles in this dark violet color. Okay. To paint this, what I have done is to wait a little bit that the zone it has dried. Okay, because if
Mm.
I paint while the illustration is wet, it will be just a mess, and you will see a mix up of colors, and we will
Yeah.
not have this effect. So sometimes we
Mm.
need to wait. Okay, the illustration, the paper has dried, and sometimes it's interesting to paint while is it still wet.
That's very true. And for everyone to remember that to not draw everything in a haste, to make sure you take your time and be patient with the art that you do. Um,
Hi,
Hi.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I don't know what happened. I'm
Oh.
back. Oh my God. I don't know. That's life things. Okay, so I'm back. So sorry. Oh my God.
Oh
So
no, no problem.
we are just going to end with the other flipper. I'm going to paint it a little bit with this dark color, dark violet. Okay.
Mhm.
What I was saying that sometimes we need to wait, as I'm going to do now. I'm going to paint the mouth and the lines. Okay.
Yeah.
So I need
Mm.
the paper to be dried. Okay. Because I
Mm.
want to, as you will see, I want the lines to be seen very well.
Yeah.
So we can add a little bit of dark color here if you want,
Mm.
but
Mm.
you see that this is almost done.
Wow. Oh, I can't wait for the end result.
So here, for the lines, I recommend to practice, if you wish, a little bit on another piece
Mm-hmm.
of paper, because painting lines is not easy. Okay, you have to
Mm.
practice a lot, but take your time. Okay, if you want to practice directly to the illustration, that's okay. But if you wish, just take your brush and in another piece of paper, just practice a little bit the lines. Okay. As you see, I draw the eye in a non-realistic way, but
Mm.
you can see it's an eye too. So don't worry that much about making these super realistic eyes, okay? I want to see this is
Mhm.
an eye. So the illustration is done. It is finished. And one last thing, just erase these pencil sketch
Mm.
lines. But please do it once the illustration is completely wet. I dry. Sorry, If
Yeah.
not, wow, it will be a chaos, okay?
Yeah.
So let's a little bit, about 10-15 minutes in order to erase the lines. And if you wish, with this white acrylic ink
Oh
or
my God.
another acrylic ink, you can add these side effects by creating these galaxies and this universe. But of course, this is just to test. This is another level, but feel free to experiment a little bit with it.
Mm. Oh, that's so beautiful.
Thank you. And here you will see all the illustration finished.
Oh, wow. This is so amazing. I hope that everyone has come up with their own ways of making this unique piece of art. And please make sure that you also submit it to the pearlprotectors@gmail.com. But this is really beautiful, Rena. And like, this is really amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
We're, we're also getting so many comments saying it's beautiful and it's amazing. But I also did have to mention about how humpback whales travel 25,000 kilometers. A little fun fact is humpback whales also comes to Sri Lanka as it's a non-migratory population. They travel, and you can see humpback whales from Sri Lanka. And I think that's a very nice fun fact. And you get to draw it as well as witness these beautiful creatures. I think that's really beautiful what you've done. If anyone has any questions regarding uh, the art, please make sure that you comment on Facebook as well as YouTube so we could answer.
So I don't know if anybody has any doubt regarding also materials and everything. Just feel free to ask.
I
Well,
think a
it's
lot of people appreciate that the humpback whale being drawn like this and painted like this because I don't think that it's a very common thing that people do. They try to depict the same thing as the reality in itself,
yeah,
but you somehow turn it around into a beautiful, positive attraction to the nature. And I
that's it.
think
It was
that's very.
just a way to make an artistic interpretation, something
Mm-hmm.
different, and of course, so feel free to start painting or drawing things in your own way with your own vision because it will make you unique and and of course, so we can take our license, the artists, to make
Mm-hmm.
things like that. I think.
We have also a question asking whether they can use crayons.
The crayon is another technique, or also the colored pencils. So
Mm-hmm.
the result, of course, will be completely different to that. But
Mm-hmm.
don't worry, because what you can do is just to uh, um, you can paint the same way I have done, okay,
Okay.
adding the darker colors, lighter colors, okay,
Mm-hmm.
adding just more contrast. But of course, it's another technique. I do not paint with crayons or color pencil, but just test a little bit. Maybe you can reach something curious and something related to what I have done with these
Mm-hmm.
tools. but
Yeah.
this is not something that I control or that I can give advices about it. It's another technique. So I'm more
Okay.
focused on watercolor technique.
Okay, that's great. There is another question. What kind of brush that you use?
Okay, so for this art class, and the thing that I use the most, these are these brushes. Okay,
Mhm.
these are not natural brushes. Okay,
Mm,
plastic. These are from Pentel. Okay, these are very good because they are very great for traveling, and
yeah.
also because they have this water on it. Okay, so you only have to push to have water here.
Yeah. So
Okay,
it's like already there. Yeah, it's very
yes,
convenient.
it's already there, and it's very good for these water effects because you
Mm,
don't need to be all the time just putting it on the water glass. Okay, so the effect is almost similar to these brushes.
mm,
Okay, and another good thing is that as they are synthetic, they are not natural, you do not have to take care that much with these ones. Okay, this
mm,
one you have to wash very good. You have to take
yeah.
care quite the double than these ones. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if you can find this kind of brushes everywhere. If not, this brush is
Yeah.
perfect. Perfect to be used. Okay.
Yeah. And for it to have a long lasting effect, make sure that you clean them and you wash it properly.
That's it.
Uh, and there is also another question they've asked, which is the best part about drawing something like this? I think that's a really important question.
Yeah, it's a very important and beautiful
Yeah.
question.
Mm,
Oh, wow. Mm. In a way, I can say the result because each one will be different. Okay.
mhm,
But um, let me say that the best part is since the moment that you do the sketch at the
yeah.
moment you finish all the process. This is
Mm,
what we were talking about, this kind of meditation with
yeah.
yourself, with the color,
Mm,
with what you are
mm,
doing, that you are creating something beautiful based in an animal.
yeah.
Okay, so you are just transforming, you are doing
Hmm.
a transform process. Okay,
Hmm.
so let me say that the most beautiful thing of it is that I am just turning an animal into art.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Um, there is another question they have asked. How do you get a 3D effect with crayons? I'm assuming maybe how you do it with paint as well.
Well, with crayons, this
Yeah.
3D effect is just by playing with dark, as I said, with
Mm-hmm.
dark and light colors. Okay, so the
Mm-hmm.
zones that, as example here in the Humpback Whale, that are painted in more dark color, just do the same with your crayons.
Okay.
Okay, and I recommend that, well, when painting in crayons, don't paint like this, like woo, no, no. Paint in a very relaxing way, and
Mm-hmm.
add more amount of color or a darker color. Okay.
Okay. Uh, well, there's more questions coming in.
Yes.
One question is, how long would you spend on a painting
To do, for example, I
for
am
a
at
drawing?
home,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
relaxed, okay, and I want to do this whale. So
Yeah.
when I started painting, it took me about 1 hour or more to paint this. But
Mm-hmm.
once that you paint every day, because this is my job, and you paint during all the years, every day, so it can take me about 30 minutes, more or less.
Okay.
Let's say from 30 minutes to 1 hour.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
But of
Wow.
course, it depends
Yeah.
on many things. If I need to some zones to be dried, okay,
Yeah.
I need
Mm.
to wait a little bit,
Yeah.
then just go and look at the window or just go to my email. I have to wait. But if it's something quite agile to paint, let me
Mm-hmm.
say it about from 30 minutes to 1 hour, more or less.
Wow, that's really impressive, though. Okay, so we have one last questions that we can answer. What kind of background would you recommend with this art? Whether a clouds or maybe a galaxy background, so that they can use the entire image in itself, uh, use the entire paper rather
Ah,
than
okay, to
just
use
the,
entire
yeah.
paper. Well, to use
Mm-hmm.
entire paper, I would recommend to do some watercolor spots, okay,
Okay.
just
Mm-hmm.
over the handbag, leaving the handbag,
Oh,
or can be clouds. But you have to think if you want that the whole whale blends with the background,
mm,
as
yeah.
everything is like a galaxy, or if you want to be this whale to be in this first term, and then you have
Mm,
the other things like decoration, but don't take out the importance of the main piece of the art, okay? Just if you
mm,
want, add some details, okay? But if you
yeah.
want to add a full background, okay, in the paper, I would recommend to add a dark color, more dark
Okay.
color. If you want to paint,
Mm,
paint and something that gives contrast to this pink, okay? What we are not going to do is to paint the background pink, because if not, we'll be,
mm,
oh my God, no, no,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, too much.
Okay, we wanted one thing to be in the first term and the other on the second, okay? But
Mm-hmm.
well, I think that this illustration maybe will need some details, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would paint all the background. But it's up to you, just
Yeah.
to experience, to experiment a little bit.
Yeah. I think that's a very nice answer. Thank you, Rena, for answering all the comment questions.
Pleasure.
And I think I will show you what I did. So this is my art,
Oh, very good.
and um, this is really funny because at the time I was drawing it, I did not have any paint with me. So, Rena, could you guess what I used? Uh,
I'm so curious because I do not see like
the
coffee.
whale.
So it's
No,
not
it's not
coffee
coffee.
color. So I'm
No,
super curious to know. No.
I used blueberries.
Amazing. Amazing. Congratulations. I love that.
Thank
And
you.
it takes me to a very important thing that maybe you do not have to buy watercolors or paints. Just explore with the
Mm-hmm.
things you have in nature, you have
Yeah,
at home. Blueberries,
yeah.
coffee, there are a lot of
Beetroots. Yeah, there's
that.
so many.
That's it. There are a lot of things with a lot of color that we can
Yeah,
use also to paint. So
yeah.
amazing. That's amazing. Yes, I really like it. Maybe one day
Thank
we
you
can
very
have our class only
Yes.
painting with this kind of these nature things. So congratulations
Yeah.
to me. I love it.
Thank you very much. And one last remark on the art competition. So the submission images must be emailed to the pearl protectors at gmail.com. So the World Oceans Day art competition will run parallel to art exhibition where all the art submitted will be displayed on the website of the Pearl Protectors, on Facebook, on Instagram, as well as Twitter. The winner and the prize awards will be announced on the World Oceans Day, which is falling on the 8th of June during the World Oceans Day Symposium. The top 30 submissions will be selected as winners, first, second, and third place, receiving the most valued prize. So the expectations of the artwork will be based on the unique creativity, artistic impression, how you convey the message, the effort that you put in, and the quality of the submission. But if you would like to read more on the rules and information, please visit pearlprotectors.org. Um And I would also like to remind everyone that we have a World Oceans Day Summit coming up and an exciting lineup of 44 experts, which is starting from the 5th of June and ending on the 8th of June, being World Oceans Day. So, this is really important to learn more about the ocean, uh, to know about the current issues that's happening with the MV Express Pearl. If you would like to know more about it, please join us on this summit, and it's free for all. You just have to be there on time. Make sure you look at the agenda as well. And I think that this would be an amazing opportunity for us to find out more about something that we have not much idea about. So I would like to thank everyone for joining today, and thank you, Rena, for joining us for today's session. And I hope that everyone learned a little bit more about humpback whales and how to paint with watercolors.
Thank
So
you, Kazumi, and thank you, the Pro Protectors, and thanks to everyone. It has been a pleasure to me.
yeah, and thank you. It's been a pleasure to have you as well, and it was an amazing session. And yeah, I hope that everyone has a really good day ahead. And see y'all soon.
Thank you.